We're jumping through the bush. On and on we push. Got vaccinated, you see? Hopefully I'm not microchipped. I can pull up these questions for my Q&A. Okay, let's do it. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. If you're new here, I post videos about lifestyle, business, and social media. Today, I am talking all about why I don't drink and how my life may be different because of it. So yeah, this topic was actually more, like people were more interested in it than I thought they would be. I put up a little question poll on my stories and you guys had some really good questions. So I'm excited to talk about it. Kind of feel like an advocate for people who either don't like drinking or don't want to drink, although that's not necessarily my reason. But I do feel like I can set a good example for someone who can have a lot of fun and not need to drink, or can be social or comfortable in social settings without having to have the clutch of a drink in their hand. So I will get right into it. Basically, the reason I don't drink is that there is something called Asian flush. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may not have. And it is a thing where a lot of Asians can't properly digest alcohol. It is something having to do with genetics, where somewhere along our ancestral DNA chain, don't really know how that shit works exactly, but from my understanding, I'm explaining it to you the best way I know how. And I will also link a video, if it's still up, because I watched it like years ago, which in depth explains like the science behind Asian flush. And it probably will do a much better job at explaining it than I will. But basically the concept of it is that somewhere along our genetic DNA, we either lost the enzyme, or the enzyme we have doesn't work properly that breaks down alcohol. So like what breaks down alcohol in your body, my enzyme either it doesn't function properly or I don't have it. So my body cannot break down the alcohol, which in turn makes it turn into, or not turn into, formaldehyde? I don't know, some poisonous chemical like that, because alcohol, low-key, it like actually is poison, but then when you drink it, your body digests it so that it's not poisonous anymore. So our bodies, whoever has the lucky genetic Asian flush, our body just doesn't break it down. So that's why it's called a flush. We get really red. We are having kind of an allergic reaction. Well, it's similar to an allergic reaction, but it's more of just an intolerance to alcohol. But what I tell people, because it's just easier to say it, and what I've been saying for years, is that I'm allergic to alcohol, which is partially true because my reaction that I get is pretty much an allergic reaction. So that is like the thick of it. And my dad and my sister can't drink either. So growing up, I kind of knew it was a possibility because my dad never drank because it didn't sit well with him. And then when my older sister started to drink, she just could not drink. Like hives, throwing up after a few beers, like really, really sick, itching from the inside out. So yeah, I feel like this band-aid looks so weird. It's kind of cute. I guess I'll take it off. Ow. Oh, fuck. Sorry, that was distracting me. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, so my dad and my sister couldn't drink, so I knew it was a possibility. And in high school, I did drink, although I would get really hot really fast, and I kind of would try to drink through it because I was in denial in high school, and I was like, there's no way I'm allergic to alcohol, like no. But yeah, so I would just torture myself and try to drink past the pain, and it got worse and worse as I got older. Like in high school, I would drink like 2, maybe 3 beers before I had to tap out because it was making me just like so hot and flush. Like I feel like I was burning from the inside out with a 105 fever. It was so bad. But I would still try anyways. And then the last time that I was like, okay, I'm done trying, this is my final straw, was, I think it was my 20th birthday, which is ironic because underage. But yeah, I think it was my 20th birthday. I was in Disney and I would try different types of alcohol because, and that's another common question, is like, well, have you tried all different types of alcohol? Like maybe there's a type that you don't have a reaction to. But so I tried this different beer, something like Golden Monkey or something. And like the first few minutes of it, I didn't feel my flush. So I got all excited. I'm like, I found it. I found the beer I can drink. And then I was like drinking more of it. And then I was like on the Lion Country Safari little fucking truck just wanting to absolutely die. Like I felt horrible, and that was my breaking point where I was like, I give up. I accept it. I am not trying to drink. I don't want to try to drink. It's just simply not worth it. So yeah, that is basically it. What happens when I drink is that I feel really hot. My eyelids, like I can feel them start to swell up. I get an instant migraine. It's really crazy like how fast the reaction happens, because I have, within the past 5 years, have accidentally taken sips of alcohol that I thought were water, or like I drank a coconut that I didn't know had liquor in it, and like my like fight or flight responses are flagged so quick, and like even just one sip of alcohol makes me feel like shit. So yeah, that is my story, and I've kind of really just accepted it and owned it. Definitely in my earlier 20s I was like, I think more upset about it, but as I get older I've really come to accept it and appreciate it, and kind of just like really embrace it, because there's a lot of things that I am thankful for because I don't drink. Like just as an example, I will see people stumbling out of clubs or really hungover the next day, like just miserable, hating their life, and of course in those moments I'm thankful that I won't ever be in that situation. Or even when people are like physically drinking or taking shots, like my friends will look at me and be like, you're so lucky, like that was so gross. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I enjoy it. We save a lot of money on alcohol between Tyler and I, and I'm also always a designated driver, which is nice. And I think in general it's just nice to know that I'm always going to be like aware completely of my surroundings. And yeah, and I don't really feel FOMO because I enjoy music and I enjoy socializing, and a lot of people already think I'm drunk because of the way I act, and it's not necessarily because I act drunk, but I just feed off of everyone else's energy and like to have fun. So when everyone around me is silly and drunk and like good vibes, I just kind of feed off of that energy, and I'm on the same level as them, except I won't have a hangover the next day, which is great. So that is it. And before I keep rambling about random shit, I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions that I got asked on my Instagram stories. I don't drink because I'm a control freak and get anxiety if I'm not 100% in control. How about you? I've heard this from a lot of people who choose to not drink. I mean, I choose to, I don't know. I basically choose not to either, but it's like, I can't even if I wanted to. Yeah, for me, it's not, again, it's not really about the control thing. It's more so that like my body literally is intolerant to it, but I totally understand not wanting to lose control, because obviously when you drink, a lot can happen that you might regret. Next question is, how do you deal with the peer pressure of getting asked to drink? I'm pretty much, yeah, this is a great question, because obviously everywhere I go, I have to explain this. Like I've explained this so many times in my life, especially just the seasons of my life where I was out and about meeting a lot of new people. Like obviously my close friends and family know that I don't drink, but even sometimes they forget and will offer me or be like, what are you ordering? Or do you want to take a shot? And I'm like, but it's fine, I don't really take it personally. But in situations where I do have to explain it, I just tell people I'm allergic to alcohol, and then I have to kind of explain, like if people haven't already heard of Asian flush, kind of have to go through the whole story of it. I should really just like wear a sticky note on my head, because I say the same thing every time I explain it to everyone. And usually that is enough of an excuse, like no one really tries, although I have been in situations where people are like, no you're not, no you're not, and I'm like, I literally am. Like I will have to go to the hospital if you try to get me to shove that shot down my throat. I have had people shove bottles in my face, like trying to get me to take shots, and I have to push them away. And in some situations, honestly, if it's like not even worth explaining, or if it's a bunch of people I really don't know and I'm not going to get to know well, I have taken shots and thrown them over my shoulder. I've dumped them out, I've put them down, I'll like pretend and then just not take it. It really just depends on the situation. I just do whatever is easiest for me in that moment. But I don't really feel the pressure, because once I do say I'm allergic, people are usually pretty respectful of that. And also I think like, I mean, I know it's annoying to explain, but I think we should just be able to say, no, I don't drink, or like, I'm sober. Because if you, also I noticed this when I was in LA, when I would say I don't drink, people wouldn't ask questions. And I think because there's so many recovering alcoholics, I mean, there's recovering alcoholics everywhere. And that's not to, I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but especially in LA, like it's very common to come across that. So when I would say that, people just were almost more respectful than they are in Miami, because they kind of just were like, oh, okay, all good, because maybe they assume some things about my past. But yeah, it's just interesting. Definitely people are like more pushy in Miami, I feel like. What is your go-to non-alcoholic drink? Water, honestly. I don't really like, I'm not a big like juice person to start. I don't drink soda. I really just drink a lot of water, maybe green tea every now and then, but water. That's why Whiskey and Water podcast, go check us out on YouTube. How do you not get annoyed being sober in a drinking setting around drunk people? Great question. Also a question I get asked pretty often. I just don't really surround myself with people who like get like super sloppy drunk. Most of my friends like know how to have a good time, but like as far as like the situations that typically unfolds when people get too drunk, like drama or fights, things like that, like I just don't surround myself with people who act that way. Yeah, I don't want that to come off judgmental, but I in the past I have had to deal with it, and if anything I just remove myself from the situation. But yeah, I try to surround myself with like people who know how to handle their fucking liquor. Like they know how to handle their alcohol. They're not out here starting fights with random people. They're not doing stupid shit. Like, come on, we're 25. Like, what am I trying to say? Just like get it together. Don't be that person. But yeah, I hope that answers that question. How do you not get annoyed being sober in a drinking setting around drunk people? And also, like I said, like I am able to feed off people's energy. So if they're being silly and goofy and having a great time, like so am I. But unless it's like bad and really annoying, then there's plenty of times where I have just left by myself. I don't really go out that often, so it helps that I'm not like out every single weekend, but I have definitely left bars and clubs by myself because I was just ready to go home and I was tired. And I'll just leave and call an Uber, and I'll be totally, because I know I'm gonna be like happier home in my bed, comfy, and not like in a situation that I just don't want to be in. Do you ever wish you could drink in certain situations? No, I don't like really have FOMO in the club. I don't have FOMO at bars. Like there's never a situation where I'm like, wow, I wish I was on their level, or I wish I was like drunk like everyone else. The only thing I do feel like I miss out on is drinking a glass of wine, like with Tyler or with my girlfriends, or while I'm cooking, or while I'm eating dinner. I feel like if I could drink, that is the type of drinking I would do, is just like casually kind of drinking wine. So I do feel like I miss out on that, because I also feel like that takes the edge off for a lot of people when they've had a long hard day or they're stressed out. Like they might come home, cook dinner, and drink a glass of wine while they're doing it. So that is something that I'm like, oh, wish I could do that. Have you noticed any changes with your skin since stopping? Not necessarily, because I thankfully have had a pretty good track record with my skin even before, like in high school and early college days when I was drinking. But do I think it contributes to having a clear complexion? A clear complexion and like a clear face? I want to say yes, because it definitely can't hurt. Like just keeping my system cleaner in general, I feel like helps. And considering that I do drink as much water as I do, I do think that probably helps with keeping my skin clear as well. Just want to let you know that you're not alone. Don't like to drink either. Never been drunk. Yeah, and that's totally something I think like I really stand up for people who choose not to drink, because I'm proof that you don't have to do it. You don't have to drink to be social. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to, and like they might want to stop, or like they look at me and they're like, damn, I wish I had the excuse of like being allergic, but like now I can't be in social settings without 2 or 3 glasses of whatever, which is fine. But also it's possible. You can hold a glass of water and people think it's, you know, a soda tonic or whatever the fuck, and you can have conversations, and it might be uncomfortable and hard at first, but the more you practice and the better you get used to it, and just, I don't know, the easier it is. Obviously I think it's easier for me to say, considering like I didn't start my 20s drinking at all. Not into drinking makes me feel ill. What about marijuana? I will smoke every now and then. I enjoy smoking on vacation, and that's like the time where I feel like I can relax and let go and not have anxiety or be paranoid, but I don't really smoke so much at home. But I've also had phases of that where like in high school I smoked a lot, and then sometimes in like a few years in college I would smoke every day. But now except for the rare occasion, but I will smoke on vacation. Like that's my time to be like, all right, we're having fun, we're relaxing. The last question is, do you ever feel anxious in social settings without a drink? No, and I don't know if it's because I'm so used to it at this point, but I usually always have a water in my hand. Like I'll get a water from the bar, and a lot of times, like I said, that does look like a drink. So, or even if it's just like a water cup, it's just something for my hand to hold, so I'm not just like awkwardly like standing there like with nothing to do with my hands. So no, I don't. I just don't. I'm trying to like explain why I don't, but I just don't. I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, like I said, not drinking or being sober or whatever everyone wants to do. It's their own personal decision, and I think they should totally own that and live it and live their truth. And don't be afraid to tell people that you don't like drinking because it doesn't make you feel good, if that is the reason. Because I mean, when at the end of the day, that's my reason too. It doesn't make me feel good, so I don't even bother. All right guys, so that is it. I've been rambling. I don't know if this was insightful, helpful. I hope it was, and I hope it gives clarity to some people who have been on the fence maybe if they want to reevaluate how much they drink or drinking in their life in general. I hope this was helpful for you. So please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you next week for another video. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not, and follow me on all my social platforms and my podcast and everything else. Okay, bye.